Hi everyone, it's Rachel from Sweet and Simple Home. Thank you so much for coming by today. So the past couple weeks, my family and I have just been going through this awful sickness, and I'm better enough now to sit in front of the camera and chat with you guys, but you can probably still hear it in my voice, and I have water next to me in case I start coughing, and it's just the time of year, right? But I wanted to make a video today sharing with you my thrift wish list for 2022. I wanted to do this before we got too far into the month, because looking at the calendar today, I was like, we're already to the end of January? Like, how did that happen? I need to get my list going. I have a list of things I'm still looking for my house, and I love watching videos like this, so I thought I would make one. And I want to show you those areas in my house and what I'm thinking about, and maybe even show you a few of the pictures that inspired me that I found either through reading articles or just on Pinterest. I hope you're ready, and let's dive into what I'm hoping to find thrifting, going to yard sales, estate sales in the year 2022. So the first thing on my list is furniture. I'm really hoping I can find the perfect hutch to put in between sort of the sitting area and the dining area in my house. I have this huge blank wall. At some point, I hope to add trim to this so that it comes up not all the way to the top of this wall, but draws the eye up. I hope to have this hutch in between the two spaces that creates this sort of delineation between the sitting area and the dining area, but also brings some purpose to this wall. I also have this little table there right now because our internet box had to go in that spot. When they came, like, this is the only active spot we can put it unless we do this, this, and that. And it just was like, okay, no, just put it there. It's fine. I'll make it work. And so I have this little table right there, and in the basket under the table is the internet box. Well, I'd love to do a better job of hiding it. I feel like I could do that in a nice hutch with some glass doors and just make it look really pretty. But I haven't found the right hutch yet, especially in my budget, so I'm still looking, and I do hope I find it this year. The other piece I'm still looking for is a secretary desk for my bedroom that I could use to put my craft stuff in, and then just be able to close the hutch or the secretary part of it, and it's tucked away, but I can still have a spot to put my crafting stuff. Right now, I just have my crafting stuff in baskets, and I kind of carry it with me wherever I am in the house, and that's fine, but I'd love to have a spot for my things. I'm just looking for one that's the right scale for the room, that's nice and tall, and that's in my budget. I'm sure you're not surprised that I'm also still looking for bookshelves. I love the ones I already have. They flank this huge curved window that I have, and I love them. I think we want to carry this same idea into our sitting room. In our sitting room, we have this little electric fireplace, and we've just really loved that. We think that's a great feature. But the room is really lackluster right now, and it's like, what do we need to do to make this room make sense and pull together? My husband was like, I would love to just fill this wall with bookshelves. I think that would be great because it's this really tall angled wall, and right now the only thing on the wall is this piece of artwork that we love. To do a built-in of that scale would be beyond our skill set. We don't even have, the tools for that, and all the wood with current prices, it would be ridiculously expensive. So what I'm hoping to find is either a pair or 4 of the same or similar bookcases that we can create a base for, and then top it off with some really cool chunky molding and line it up with where this sort of jut out part of the wall is. I found this inspirational photo, but I saw it in this article about this man's home in England, and I just loved this. There's this big chunky chair and this really beautiful rug, really tall, gorgeous bookshelves, and just full of books. Like, I love that, and I love this space, and I hope that we can do something like that. So I'm looking for really tall, stately bookshelves, and that we can, work with for this idea. The next thing on my list is decor. What decor am I specifically looking for right now? So I really want to frame a lot of that vintage sheet music that I've collected over the years. And I also have this book with, I think it's Mother Goose poems and really sweet little illustrations that belong to my husband's grandmother. So I displayed them in the past just using clipboards, and I have that display actually in my boys' room, and we have maps of Lord of the Rings and Narnia in their bedroom with the vintage clipboards. I love that, and I'm going to keep it in their room, but I've really tried to think, how do I want to display my sheet music? I miss it. I love the artistry of vintage sheet music and the beautiful illustrations. So I want to find a bunch of chunky, unique frames and frame a bunch of these pieces and also put them on that big long wall that is kind of behind the sitting room and the dining area. And if I have that built up trim or beadboard to a certain point, above that I want to put these big frames with my vintage sheet music and poetry framed inside that. I think that would be so cool, so unique to our family, and very personal. And I don't know, I just think I can't get the idea out of my head. So I'm hoping I can find some frames. I feel like I've been looking forever for a lot of really cool, unique frames. I have not found any. I don't know if everybody else has the same idea or they're just not being donated right now, but I'm still looking, and I hope I can pull that off this year. I'm also looking for pillow covers or throw pillows that I can continue to play with in my decor. I feel like that's a really great way to mix up the space, and I found some awesome ones recently that I think work really great now, and I'll use them again in the fall. But I don't have a lot of like spring colored or, you know, that sort of light feel you want in spring and summer. I don't have any that fit that. So I'm looking for that, or just even fabric that I can turn into pillow covers. So I'm looking for that as well. One of the things that's always on my list is candles. I definitely want to keep some on hand, but also I just think thrifted candles, you just get a better price for your money. And you can often find the more vintage styles, the tapers that are just beautiful. And so I'm looking for candles that I can use in groups, for centerpieces, for my mantle on my fireplace, and just for practical daily use. So I very much need lamps. And I honestly find lamps one of the hardest things to thrift for, because when they're secondhand, I worry about like how old they are. I mean, is this safe, and that kind of thing. And as much as I know how easy it is to rewire, I get very squeamish about wiring. It's just not something I enjoy doing. So I prefer to find lamps that definitely look newer so I don't worry about like the wiring issue. I find myself drawn to cute little lamps, but then you don't get the scale that you need and the light that you need. So I'm definitely still looking for lamps. I need some in my sitting room desperately. It's very dark in there at night. So when we took the Christmas tree down, I was like, oh, wah, it is dark in here. I have another spot in the house where I just have this idea that I cannot get this idea out of my head. So I have this one funky cabinet. It's just one hanging out on the other side of the window by itself. It's kind of hard to get to because you have to reach over the corner of the countertop. And for me, because I'm super short, like I can barely reach. There's only like this much space in that cabinet that I can reach. So I thought this would be a great example of when you can just take a cabinet down. So I'm thinking that's probably what we'll do. I have enough space in the other cabinets to move what's in there to another spot. I think it'll also let in a little bit more light. And I thought it would be cool to get some sort of cool like decorative shelf to put there and just have like a few of our favorite things on display there and make it look kind of built in. If that makes sense. I have this vision of a cool old shelf there, and I can't even tell you what it looks like because it's from my brain. And so I'm hoping I can find something that fits that idea. If not, if I can't find anything, we will at least take down this cabinet this year and have that nice and open. I think the sunlight will come in from the window much better into the other parts of the kitchen. This goes without saying, I'm always looking for books. Always, like pretty books, books we want to read, books that are old and cool and crusty. I'm always looking for books. Another thing that I am constantly looking for is baskets. I have a few spots that I'm always needing baskets for. One would be the pantry, closets for all of us. So I have a few things that are on my list that are a little bit more practical, but things that I love to look for. And one is ribbon and lace, like vintage sewing notions and whatnot that I can use to wrap gifts with, make crafts out of. I have a POSHMARK closet, which I always have linked below, and I love to wrap up what people buy with vintage lace or ribbon or sewing notions to make it fun and cute and kind of unique to me. So I'm always looking for stuff like that. And this year I used up all my Christmas wrap, so I thought it would be fun to try to find some cool like vintage Christmas wrap. Sometimes you can find it still in the package at estate sales, and I've passed on it in the past. I'm like, okay, no, I have Christmas wrap. I bought some on the after Christmas clearance. I didn't buy any after Christmas clearance this year because I'm kind of hoping I can find some actual like vintage Christmas wrap. We'll see. If I don't, I'll do the brown paper and dress it up with the sewing notions and whatnot that I hopefully will find. But I am looking for that this year. And then I always am looking for crafting supplies and just like basic art supplies that we can use, like paints, crayons, color pencils, watercolors, all that kind of stuff. I'm constantly looking for out at thrift stores, yard sales, and estate sales because we just use that up a lot. My kids love making crafts and art. I love it too, and with it being winter, I just realized how quickly we work through a lot of that stuff, especially when we were sick. We like burned through all the crayons, I feel like, with having to just sit and color, you know, just trying to find things for the kids to do that didn't take energy. I realized like I need to keep this up year round just to keep up with cold and flu season crafting. I also have a few clothing pieces and things I'm looking for my kids. I'm always looking for my kids as well, but I feel like that goes without saying. So that about wraps up what I am hoping to find in 2022. I'm sure things will go on the list as I, you know, find specific inspiration for things, or find that there's something that gets broken, or, you know, I have a moment of inspiration. But that basically is what I'm hoping to find in 2022. And I'm curious to know what you all are looking for, so be sure to let me know in the comments. I just think it's fun when you are also a thrifter to talk thrifting with other thrifters. But anyway, it's good to be here, you guys. I feel a little bit more just human having this conversation with you all. I feel like I'm coming back to life here. But you guys take care. Thank you for hanging in as my posting has been a little off with being sick, but I'm grateful that you guys are here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you hit that red subscribe button. We'd love to have you here. And I love making my home beautiful little by little. And my favorite kind of ways to do that is through thrifting. So I have lots of thrift hauls to share and lots of decorating videos. So I hope that's your thing, and I hope you'll stick around for more. All right, you guys, take care, and I will be back with more soon. Bye!